Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bond. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. I'm Veronica Bond. Welcome back to the Be Visible with Veronica podcast. If you missed last week's episode, I encourage you to go back and take a listen to Lorraine Talman's story of Amanda Hope Rainbow Angels, why she started her nonprofit to honor her beautiful daughter, Amanda. I promise you will not leave without a tear in your eye. Today is a very special episode because it is back by popular demand. This guest has had the most views, the most downloads, and the most comments and questions asking for more time with her. And I couldn't be more thrilled to invite her back. Dr. Brenda Combs, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me back.
So excited to have you here. Tell me, why do you think that episode, it was only our second one, but it really resonated with the audience? What do you think it was?
You know, I think it was because I have such a unique and hardcore comeback story that it resonates with a lot of women that may not have had such a rough road as I did, but I think it lets them know, like, my God, if she can come back from being homeless for 10 years, living underneath a bridge in downtown Phoenix to becoming, Dr. Combs, then I, who haven't had half of those issues and problems, I too can make it. I can, overcome my issues. I can make my dreams and goals become a reality. And I think because I'm an approachable person, I think I am.
Yes, you
I
are.
love people. I love to support others. And I'm constantly wanting to learn that people see that in me. And I think it just resonates with, man, I can do it. Because I always tell people, never give up. Believe in yourself and your ability to do your best. When you make those mistakes, admit it. Clean it up when you can, learn from it, and keep going. Because if you keep going, you're going to be that entrepreneur. You're going to rebuild your brand. You're going to rebrand yourself. You're going to make your goals and dreams become a reality.
I love that. And I totally believe that that is the reason why people wanted to hear more from you. We left off the last episode talking about Tony, your husband, talking about you getting your doctorate, and sharing about the sober living homes that you guys have created together and what that project looks like. We started to get into your Shiro brand and that book launch and what it looked like for you to become your own personal publisher. And since we spoke, I believe not only have you launched a magazine, you have also written and published 3 more books telling beautiful stories that are really different, and they're short reads, but they're not just about the entrepreneurial journey. They're about a story in Mississippi. They're all these great stories. And I want to circle back to that and really start today, because this is a podcast for entrepreneurs to really listen, like you said, to the comeback, that what's the setup, how does it go? The fallback is just the setup for the comeback, something like that.
Yes. Spot on.
Drop in the comments if you actually know who said that quote and give it to us correctly. But I just think that Finding My Shoes, now being produced into a movie, the magazine that you launched just a couple weeks ago, and I want to talk about how often you're going to be doing that and who the demographic is for that, and where you're at with your Shiro brand and what that feels like to be really resonating in that time space, and share more about that.
Well, in terms of like the publishing, I set a goal for myself at the beginning of the year, is that I've had these stories that I've written since I was 8. I'll be 63. Well, I'm 63 now. And because I just recently had a birthday. So anyway, so I have all of these stories, half-written books or titles that I started or in outlines, never completed them. And I gave myself a definitive goal to publish at least 12 books this year.
12 this year.
So my goal is to publish a book every month on the 23rd of every month, because my birthday, August 23rd, I just picked that as the goal date, and by the grace of God and my hard work, I have made it happen every month so far.
So what put you on the publishing journey? For those budding authors or people who believe they have a story within them, but they face fear around telling it, or they think it won't resonate, or everybody's so worried about this bestseller status or who's going to read it. How did you navigate through those emotions and those obstacles that came your way, that scarcity mindset or that the lack of belief in you? And I know it ties back to your original story, so maybe share with the listeners and viewers how they can bring that story to life.
You know, for me, when it was first even brought to me by the principal at the school that I was teaching at, Trish, she basically challenged me to write my story, because she said I was sharing my story with the students and the staff, and she said the world needs to know my comeback story. And so she encouraged me, and I ended up getting a contract with Simon Schuster. And it was a long process. I learned a lot. This is where the publishing part comes in, because I learned a lot working with an editor and a manager and a ghostwriter and the whole team, and learning some of the business end of it. And 3 years later, we still didn't have a book, and it was time for me to re-sign my contract to continue moving forward. And I just decided that I wanted my story out then, and I didn't want to have to, necessarily deal with the middleman. And I felt like I had learned enough to at least get started. So I did a little bit of research, learned how to publish on Amazon, published my book, Finding My Shoes, became a bestseller, and I knew nothing about marketing, nothing. I knew absolutely nothing, nothing, and it became a bestseller. And then at that point, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm a published author now. But the book opened up speaking opportunities for me, because then out of the blue, a speaking agency reached out to me, a manager, a lawyer. My speaking career took off because of that book.
It's a beautiful story. And for those new listeners today, let's dive into that for a couple minutes and share what Finding My Shoes is all about.
Finding My Shoes is definitely a comeback story, because I was raised in a small Christian loving family in Flagstaff, but I had low self-esteem due to bullying, being discriminated against, being treated really horrible. And I suffered a lot of PTSD and trauma, which caused me to, not like myself. So I graduated from high school early, started college, was immature, didn't fit in that group either. But I met the party girls who love and welcome everyone.
Yes, they do.
And they introduced
Fun
me
and dangerous.
And dangerous, yes. Because they really changed my life, because they introduced me to that party life. And from there, that party life introduced me to drugs, which introduced me to crack cocaine, which completely destroyed my life, my womanhood, my femininity, my confidence, my self-esteem. I didn't love myself. I tried to commit suicide multiple times. I sold myself. I was raped, beaten, stabbed, burned with cigarettes.
And
Shot, hit by a car. I mean, just the things that I went through were just unbelievable. And then one day, while I think I had been on a 7-day binge, I woke up in an alley and realized someone had stolen the shoes off of my feet.
And that we're going to be continued there, because we want you to go pick up the rest.
We really
of the
do
story.
want you to read the story and then be on the lookout for the movie.
For the movie. So you took that story and what happened when you woke up and found your shoes were not on your feet, and what you had to do to survive that. But then not only that, the journey that took you to Tony, having Michaela, and your beautiful son, right?
Yeah, so my son Michael
that's right.
suffered a massive stroke at birth, And I was married at the time to his father, but his father was active in addiction. And I overnight became a single mom with a child with disabilities, living in the projects with no education, being a black woman with a criminal record. And the odds were not in my favor. I mean, I literally just threw out, rolled the dice and praying to God where it lands. But something told me I needed an education, because an education would give me options, choices, and opportunities. So fast speed, I did my undergrad in 2 years, my master's in a year, and my doctorate in 3. Today I'm Dr. Brenda Combs, ambassador of inspiration. And this journey has taken me around the world, meeting lots of other people who've had stories, and they would tell me their stories, and I would say, hey, you need to share your story. Put it in a book. It's going to really elevate your business, your brand. You're going to be able to get out there and speak and share your story and grow your community. And that's how I started my publishing company, by so many people coming to me. And I thought, well, okay, since I published my own story.
Right.
So, I did a little research, bought some more equipment, and started publishing.
I love how you give back to the community. How many children have you fostered? We've talked about them too.
Yeah, so my son at 13 brought home our first son. So I don't view them as foster children. I mean, they're like my boys.
Sure,
so we're family.
Yes.
So, and within 2 weeks, he brought, Noel came first, then Jalen, then Milkus, then Fraul, and then Shaq. Then Charisma, my godniece, was last. And my boys have always brought their friends home, like during the summer or on their breaks from school. And we went from being, a family of just me and Michael to me, Michael, and Tony, my now husband and business partner, who also is a veteran and was homeless for 20 years.
Wow.
And we met underneath the bridge, in passing, but we were never a couple, but we knew each other from the zone. He saw me on the Today Show, and him seeing me on TV sharing my story inspired him, saying, I'm a 5-time felon, and if and I used to be a crackhead and homeless, and if she can do it, maybe I can do it. And today he has his undergrad in business management, and he has 2 master's degrees. And we started making things better, sober living, out of a desire to help other people, because we've been there.
You know what's so beautiful about your story too, Brenda, and for those of you who are curious to dive into that a little more, that's episode 2. You guys can go back and listen and watch. You suffered with self-esteem as a young child. I believe 90% of the people out there could probably say they've felt the same. But you decided to create a home that brought in other vulnerable youths, to give them love, to be there for them, to support them, to lift them up. And they've become successful in their own right, and they know where mom and dad are, and they know that they can go back to a place that's safe. And I love that part of your story. It's so beautiful, because you took something that was really hard for you and you instilled it into all your other children.
Yes.
And we can only hope that more of us do that for our kids, and we give them that confidence, because if we're building hope and kindness and love and instilling that in our youth, then they're more likely to then represent that
exactly
in their schooling and
yes.
in their social circles.
It's their way of paying it forward, and I actually see that in all of my boys. And I'm going to tell you, we were very fortunate that we've got these vulnerable young boys at the age of 13. Just going into those teenage years. And it was the best thing that ever happened, I think, to me, my husband, and my entire extended family. And to this day, I have one son in Ireland playing basketball. I have 2 boys right now on the road as we speak, going to a basketball tournament. Another one who is a basketball coach. Another one of my other 2 sons are entrepreneurs. So one runs a media content company, and Noel, the oldest, is a DJ.
My gosh.
So all good boys who also give back to the community.
And it just took some abundant love.
Lots
Do
of
you
love.
ever find yourself questioning the purpose of, I know you do, so I want you to pull this out, but you and I have had multiple conversations where it's like a duck. You just let the comments, you let the negativity, you let anything that's been said to you, shared with you on social media, because you have such a beautiful presence there. Not everybody out there is kind, and they're all dealing with their own demons. And you're just like, hey, God's pulled me through the 5 or 6 things that people see in movies.
Yeah.
And I know his purpose for me is stronger. I know he's got my back. And I really want you to speak to that, because I think that spiritual connection that you have is so beautiful that it allows you to walk that walk. And you're just this shining light that people want to be in your energy. They want to be in your space. They want to hear your story. They want to feel uplifted by who you are and your story and your belief in them. Where does that lead you on your faith journey every day?
You know, because I'm such a people person, and love is my love language. I'm a giver. I love to give. It feeds my soul. It makes me feel good. And yes, there's hate when it comes to because I'm a public figure. A long time ago, one of my counselors at Maverick House told me, Brenda, what other people think of you is none of your business. Not everyone's going to be a friend, but not everyone's going to be a foe either. And for the people who love and like you, enjoy them. And for those who don't, that's okay too. You know, it's not a loss. It just wasn't meant to be. And if you don't think about it and don't let it marinate on it, it won't bother you. So when I see negative, to be truthful, I really don't read the comments.
Good.
I really don't. I may read some here and there, but I'm so busy, and I have a pretty good team to help me with my social media. But for the most part, even when I do see something, and if it's something really negative, I may even pray for that person, or I'll just say, okay, so what, you know. Right. But I just don't respond, and that's the biggest thing. That gives me the victory, because when I respond, I'm putting life into it. But if I don't respond, I have the victory, because, you know, I don't need to respond. Because again, it's so true. Not everyone is going to be a friend, and not everyone's going to be an enemy. And it is what it is. And so for those that want to be in my life and in my circle and part of my tribe, great. And for those who don't, it's okay. I still wish you the best too. Right. You know, may we all celebrate and get to heaven together. I'm not competitive. That's the other thing. I feel that whatever you want to do, there's more than enough. Whatever God has for you, he has for you. What he has for Veronica, he's not going to take it from you and give it to Brenda. It's for you, so you don't have to worry about what other people are doing. Just focus on what you're doing. That's the best way for your goals and dreams to become a reality. That's the best way to get that entrepreneurial journey started is by focusing on your lane, focusing on your goals, your business plan. You know, your networking. Stop worrying about what Sally and Susie are doing, because they're doing what they're supposed to do.
I love that. How many people does that resonate with today? Are you sitting there listening or watching us going, wow, that really spoke to me? Can we just breathe that in for a minute? My husband always says, breathe. So let's just breathe that in. What God has for you is for you. What he has for somebody else is for them.
Yeah.
And really trying to navigate through, there is no competition, there's only collaboration. And
exactly.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, whoever's supposed to be in the front row seat of your auditorium for your show, put them there. Everybody else, lock the door. They can hang outside for a little while, and they have to earn the key back.
Yes. You know, yesterday, I was talking to you earlier. Yesterday, I had several people reaching out to me privately, and it just seems like for some people, no matter what you do, you can literally give them the key to the city. You can give them the seat at the table, the map, the driver, the instructions, and they still won't make it to their goal because you want it more than they do. And I think that is a big thing with people who want to be an entrepreneur, who want to start a business. When they see those of us doing it, they see what they perceive to be is our lifestyle. But if they only know the behind the scene,
The tears, the sweat,
the lack of sleep,
Yes.
the stress, the worrying, the mistakes,
Oh,
the phone calls to
costly
apologize,
mistakes.
the finances, all of the things that go into being an entrepreneur. Because when you see us doing the events, we've polished that part. It's the 2 months back of struggling trying to find the
2
venue.
years or 20 years.
Yeah, or 20 years or a lifetime, know. And, but when it comes down to is that if a person truly wants to do it, then for those of us who network and collaborate, we're willing to help you. We want to help you, but we can't want it more than you want it.
for
And I
yourself.
think that is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, women or men, need to really think about is how badly do you want it? Because it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take determination. It's going to take tears, sweat, sometimes lack of sleep. It's definitely going to take money.
Definitely going to take
It's going to stretch you. It's going to pull you. It's going to remold you. It's like when the Lord puts you in the refiner's fire. If you want something to be different, you got to shape and mold it. And if it doesn't work, then you got to go back in and tweak it. And you got to, reshape and remold until it comes out the way it's supposed to be so that it works.
I love that you shared that part of your story. I was in Peru for a couple weeks with my dad and my sister, and it was a beautiful trip, and it was a peaceful trip, and we turned off our devices, and we watched a culture of people when they would sit at a table and we would be out to dinner. There were no phones out. People were very present in conversation, in the music, in the food, in their culture, in just being. And one of the opportunities we had in the Amazon jungle is we saw Bushmaster, which is the second deadliest snake on the planet.
Wow.
And I was maybe 5 or 6 feet from it.
Wow.
And our guide took us to see it. And what he said was, and this is why it ties to being an entrepreneur and being in season, when a Bushmaster sheds its skin, apparently, it lies still. It takes a lot of energy to do that. And this was probably a good 6 feet long guy, or female, I don't know. And a Bushmaster, I'm thinking it's a dude,
Yeah.
when I told my husband we saw a Bushmaster, he was thinking Crocodile Dundee in the jungle. But this is a snake, you guys, and in 20 minutes, if you get bit, it's like sayonara.
That's it.
Hasta la vista, baby. But the point is, it shed its skin, and it lies quiet for up to 30 days. So that's why the guide knew it would probably still be there. They didn't know when the skin was shed. They just knew that it was going to lie still. And I think that really, for me right now, that story resonated with me because shedding your skin as an entrepreneur is that growth. You're stretching,
Yes.
you're growing. And I think in the hustle culture we live in, we think we have to be doing every single day, 24/7, even building businesses. And what I've learned in my 38-year entrepreneurial journey is you have to take time for you.
You do.
You have to be in pause. You have to allow that skin to shed
Yes.
so that you can stretch and grow. And even the seeds we plant or the goals that we have, might not be ready to sow that harvest.
Exactly.
We might not be ready. We might think we're ready, and we have a timeline and a deadline, and it has to happen by this date.
Right.
But a year could go by before you actually have the fruits of the harvest.
Exactly. Or longer.
Or longer.
Yeah, I literally saw a young woman on social media sharing that she started her own business and it's been open for 2 months and she hasn't really had any customers and she feels like she needs to give up. And literally my advice was, sweetheart, you literally just got started. You don't give up. Because what if you're successful next month, next week, next hour? What if the biggest sale you've ever had comes in? What if a brand comes in and wants to partner with you in 2 weeks? Because the moment you give up, you've lost the ability. You've said, okay, goodbye to my dreams. But every day that you continue to work on it, it's the, okay, let's see what's next. Let's see what's next. And if it doesn't work, then try something else. But if you don't ever try it, my God, I promise you, you're going to be so disappointed.
And live in regret. Who wants
Exactly.
Life is too short to live in regret.
Way too short.
And you are somebody who knows that.
Yes.
And
yes.
you get to tell that story in your upcoming movie.
Finding my shoes.
What do you want the viewers and the listeners to know about Dr. Brenda Combs today? How can they find you? What do they need to know about what you have going on? How can they support you? More importantly, if they leave a comment, I know that you reply to everybody, especially on your social media channels. How can they connect with you, and what do you want them to know today?
What I want them to know is that today, Dr. Brenda Combs, ambassador of inspiration, I love the woman that I am today. I'm confident in my skin. I am not perfect. I still too can learn and grow and develop. I have no worries because I'm one of God's childs, and whatever is going to be, it's going to be. He took me from the depths of hell underneath the 7th Avenue Bridge to almost the gates of heaven, because that's where I feel my life is right now.
Living heaven on earth right now.
It's not perfect, you know. I still have issues because I'm an entrepreneur. Stuff happens, but I deal with them in the most loving way as possible. What I'd like to let people know is that I am here to not only live my life and my truth, but to help those who are in need that I can help. If you are in need of sober living, we run sober living homes. I'm more than happy to help you. If you need a mentor, I'm happy to help you. If you need a book published, I'm your girl. Come see me, BRC Publishing. If you want to speak, I am signed with 5 different speakers bureaus, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. And you can reach me on all social media platforms. My website is brendacombs.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Fanbase, BlueStack,
all the things,
Lemonade,
Threads, you name
Threads,
it, you found it.
LinkedIn,
X.
you name it, X.
You know, that really goes back to the visibility piece, because Be Visible with Veronica is about sharing these authentic, beautiful stories of entrepreneurship. And I actually this is a lovely new segue, because I created a visibility scorecard for those who are listening or watching. And if you want to know what your visibility looks like and how you're showing up, you can go to veronicabond.com/visibility-scorecard. And I will actually put that in the show notes too, because in 3 minutes, you can find out what your visibility looks like. And that's really what we're talking about today, is you have found a way, no matter what, to be present, to be truthfully in your beautiful, this is me, I'm here to be, I'm here to own it, and I'm proud of it. At 63, look at you guys. You know, I'm 58, and my daughter said 58 is never too late. So whether you're 18 or 28 or 8 or 48, 78. We know some women in their 70s that are just starting in business.
Yes.
Like, you can do it.
You can.
You can be so visible you can't be ignored, right? Like, you can find what lights your soul on fire and still be in that passion, still be in that space of who you are meant to be.
Yes, because, you know, everybody is intelligent and capable of achieving greatness. Greatness is defined individually, but everyone has the ability. God gave everyone a gift when we were born, and it's whether we choose to use it or not. It's optional. It's not forced upon us. It's optional.
And I want people to know that if they're in a circle of negativity and people who are really of a scarcity mindset, just like where Brenda Combs found herself, find the people who believe in you. You talk about that in your beautiful book. You found people who believed in you, gave you another chance, lifted you up, supported you through Michael's pregnancy and everything that was going on with him. And we could go on and on with the names of who those beautiful people are. But they were your cheerleaders. They were your angels on earth. And we all need them, and you're mine. So thank you for being here today on the comeback story, the Back by Popular Demand, Dr. Brenda Combs. Please go into the show notes, find how you can connect with her, listen to her story, and find yours within you. This is Veronica Bond signing off. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.